Good to go.
You just hit continue here. All right, fantastic. Well, I am so happy to be here today and very excited that you all are taking this tutorial with me. This class flow will begin with some slides, and that gives me an opportunity to sort of spotlight and highlight different things in design space so that it just helps bring it a little bit bigger onto your laptop, onto your camera, whatever your desktop space, so you can see what we're talking about when we go into design space. So we'll start off with some slides and then we'll go into design space. And if you're by your computer, you can go ahead and craft along with me. And then we'll actually make the project, which is kind of exciting. So if this is your first time working with Cricut, we'll actually make a finished project at the end of this hour. So that's pretty cool. Look, we still have people coming in. New York, Arizona. Okay, so just to tell you a little bit about me, I started with crafting like way back when. I kind of feel like I was born as a crafter. And I really got into my craft groove of sharing my craftiness during the scrapbook boom. So hands up if you were a scrapbook boomer. And then I transitioned into all kinds of crafts. I did all kinds of things, and Cricut sort of grew along with me. So it started with just using it on scrapbook pages for titles, and now I use a Maker and an Explore Air to cut fabric. Great during the mask, the mask boom, if you will. So really, really great and fun growth with the product. As you learn and as you grow, you know you have a machine that will learn and grow with you. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there and let you guys know, I really truly think everybody has a creative bone in their body. Sometimes it just takes a little nudge to bring it out and make it come out, and you feel fearless to start crafting and make mistakes. So that's sort of what we hope you do, is you come along and you make some mistakes with us. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. And I'm going to bring us into the slides. Give me just 1 second while I enlarge those. Always, let me move this. Got to rearrange some things here. We'll go ahead and get this started. Slideshow from beginning. All right. So, like I said, I started off with, way back when with a Cricut machine. And now we have 3 different Cricut machines to choose from. And how do you know really which is the right Cricut machine for you? It sort of depends on what types of craft you're doing and what you want to be working with. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of the machines. So Cricut Joy is the newest machine in the family. It is the perfect machine for quick, everyday fun projects. This machine can sit on your kitchen counter. It could go with you, like if you needed to do some stuff at your office, you could just grab it. Kids' schoolroom, stuff like that. If you're a teacher, you could take it back and forth. It's like a portable to-go machine. It connects with Bluetooth, so that really gives you more capability of using it anywhere with the iPhone app, just the Cricut Joy iPhone app. It works with smart materials, and smart materials go through the machine without having to use a map. So that's one less thing you have to transport someplace, even if it's from room to room. You can just put your vinyl in and cut with the smart vinyl. It has one tool holder, so it does 2 functions. It either writes or it cuts, and it works with over 50 different materials. Another unique feature for the Cricut Joy is it works with the card mat for making cards. So the card mat allows you to take a folded card, put it in the specific card mat, and then cut a card, the front of the card, right on the mat. So that's a really unique feature for the Cricut Joy and something that our card makers are loving. One more little tidbit about the Cricut Joy. It is the cutting width is 5.5 inches. So as we move into the bigger machines like the Explore Air 2, the cutting width for the Explore Air 2 is 12 inches. It's actually 11.5 cuts, but your mat is 12 inches. The Explore Air is, it's a perfect for a wide range of hobbies. and it's super easy to master. So pretty much anyone can use the Explorer Air 2 very easily out of the box. So if you're a little intimidated and you haven't taken it out of the box yet and hooked it up, this is your chance to do that with no hesitation. The Explorer Air connects with either Bluetooth or a USB port. So you can either have it with a desktop and it connects in, or you can use it similarly on the go with an iPad or an iPhone or an Android device. The Explorer Air offers 4 capabilities with 2 tool holders. So you can write, you can cut, you can score, and you can use the foil blade with the Cricut Explorer Air. You can also use over 100 materials with the Cricut Explorer Air. So it gives you a wider range of materials than you get with the Cricut Joy. It also, one other feature that the Cricut Air 2 offers is the print then cut feature, which the Joy doesn't offer, but both the Explorer Air and the Cricut Maker offer the print and cut feature. So, and they're both use a 12-inch wide mat with a cutting area of about 11.5 inches. The Cricut Maker is the pro level of performance and versatility. And it's a pro level because it works with over 300 different materials. It has 12 plus blade compatibility options. You can write, you can score, you can cut, you can use foil, you can engrave with it, you can emboss with it, you can, there's a perforation blade, there's a deep cut blade, so you can use materials like balsa wood. There's a rotary blade, so it's great for fabric. So if you're, a crafter if you're an experienced crafter and you use a lot of different mediums, the Explorer Air might be the perfect choice for you. If you're more of like an everyday, not using a lot of different materials, maybe you're just using vinyl or heat transfer vinyl, then the Explorer Air 2 might be the right choice for you. Both the Cricut Maker and the Explorer Air 2 use a double tool holder. So what that means is if you're a card maker, you could have a scoring tool in one holder and your cut tool in the other holder. So you could score and cut in the same pass through the machine. You don't have to change anything out. So that's really important when you're working on a project. You don't want to take it out and then put it in and worry about getting it in the wrong way. So what really differentiates the Maker from the Explorer Air 2 are the multitude of tools with increased material use. And the Cricut Maker has more pressure. So it will, that's what allows you to use heavier materials like the balsa wood, the leather, and things like that. And that's how the rotary blade really works well in that. That's what really sold me on the Maker, because I sew. So I loved the rotary blade. If you want to learn more about which machine is perfect for you, check out learn.cricut.com and also Michael's Tech 101. Both have lots of videos on using the different machines and what you can do with them. So good learning spots. Lindsay, before I pop on, do I have any questions that you need me to answer? Okay. All right. So let's head in. Now that you decided either you have your machine or you're kind of thinking about getting a machine, the way that we communicate with the machine is through a piece of software called Design Space. And Design Space works on a laptop, a desktop, iPad, an iPhone, and iOS devices and Android devices. So you just can go to the App Store and download the right application for you. I'm going to do most of my work through the desktop, especially as a beginner. I think it's a little bit easier, but I'll show you the differences between how it looks on desktop and your iPad. So the Design Space app lives on your computer desktop. So you download it onto your desktop or on your phone or your Android device, and it's where you bring your ideas to life. It's the communication piece between you and your cutter. So to get started, you need to get a Cricut ID. You only need one ID no matter how many different platforms you're using design space on. So if you use it on your desktop and then you want to go to your iPad, you can use the same ID. You don't need a different ID for either one. What the ID does is it allows you to store your projects and then you can access them. So like if you're working on your desktop and your Cricut's upstairs or something like that, you can grab your iPad, run up to your Cricut, Bluetooth your design over and send it over, all using the same Cricut ID. And then you need to download Design Space on your computer, Cricut ID, and I suggest you use the 30-day free trial of Cricut Access, which gives you access to over 100,000 images, thousands of projects, and hundreds of fonts. So you don't even have to think about what you want to craft. You can just use Design Space, use Cricut Access, and pop out what you're looking to create. All right, so now we're ready to dive into Design Space. And I'm going to give you a walkthrough on Design Space, continuing to use the slides, because again, you'll see red boxes around what I'm going to be talking about. So when you're looking at my screen, look for the red box, and that will highlight what I'm discussing. So at the top of Design Space, you have a gray bar, and the gray bar is the home bar or the landing bar. It's the header of your home page, and it stays there through all the different windows and processes you go through. You'll always have that bar there. So the gray bar will help you navigate between your home, your canvas, your prepare screen, all the way through. This bar will always be there. Now, on those 3 pancake lines on the left side, this is where your profile lives. It's the profile menu. So in the profile menu, you can navigate to the home, you can navigate to your canvas, and you can navigate to your account, your settings, your machine setup. All those types of back office things are in the profile menu. Below the header bar, the first band there is the banner. And what the banner does is it will highlight different projects, different materials, sort of give you a teaser and ideas and inspire you to create new things and try new products. Then below the banner will be your projects. So as you design and as you create, you save your projects to the cloud, and this is where you can find them under the My Projects. Under that is a newer feature, the video playlists, and those will be added to and changed by seasonality. This is right now we have tons of beginner videos up there. So this will give you more ideas, more tips. Like I love the weeding one. You know, a lot of people as we start, it's like, what is weeding? Do I have to go out and garden? And it's just it's weeding the weeds out of your design. But that's a video that kind of gives you an example of what that is and how to use it. Below the playlist bar is your Cricut Access material. So this is where your projects will be from Cricut Access. So right now you might see like Zooey Deschanel products were featured around Valentine's Day, and you could just click on that and make it whatever the project is. There's a whole bunch of different categories as you scroll down. I kind of had to find a spot to stop. But there's different categories. And so right now you may find a lot of ideas for St. Patrick's Day, or the new mug press would be down there. And this ribbon area is always changing, and we're always adding new ideas and new projects on there. Okay, so that is the home page of Design Space. Sort of a quick walkthrough, get your feet wet with it. Come back when you have time and explore this area, because I find that the project space is very much like Pinterest. I sort of keep going down different rabbit holes, like I'm gonna make that, I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna get lots of ideas. So I love that space. But now let's get into the meat and potatoes of Design Space, and that's the canvas. So to access your canvas, you just need to start a new project. And your canvas is basically your area to design and build your project. So in the upper right corner, you would click on the new project button. You could also click on the new project in your My Projects area. So you have two options to jump into Design Space Canvas. And think of it like a canvas, like a blank canvas. All right, now, real quick, what you're looking at on my screen right now, if you're on an iPad or you want to use an iPad, this is what your canvas looks like. All of your functionality, your editing tools, your input tools, your design panel are all start off on the bottom of your canvas. So your layers panel is down here, your actions panel is down here, and your edit panel is down here. So as I go through, I just want you to keep looking down at the bottom. The icons are the same. It's just in a little bit different location than it will be on the desktop. So anybody who's on an iPad, you'll be able to follow along. So once we're on our desktop, our canvas, that header bar is still there. So we have our pancake to get to our profile. It says Canvas, so we know where we are. It has the title of your project. If you have no project, it would say unsaved project. Further across, it says My Projects, and that's a link that will take you back to all the projects you've created and saved. You can save your project on that link. The Explore button is actually indicating which machine I'm using. And so you want to select which type of machine you're using. The reason you do that, if you use a Joy, you want to click Joy so that the design space knows what functions are accessible to you. Because you can't use a rotary blade in an a rotary blade in a Joy, the rotary blade function wouldn't be available to you. Okay, so then from there, you go down one more. Oh, I forgot my slide. The edit bar, right below your header, the edit bar functions are right under there. And the edit functions are give you like your undo, give you your line type. It tells you you can edit, you can arrange your icons and everything like that. So that's just right underneath the gray bar. The area to the right is your layers panel. And this is where you find your actions. So all the layers of your design will stack up in that layers panel. And then your actions are underneath. So your actions are to slice, to weld, to attach, to flatten, and to contour. And in the 201 class, we really go over the layers panel very heavily. So you can learn all those different things. But in this class, we just want to kind of give you the broad overview. So we'll give you the information for the 201 class after this, so you can sign up for that one. Next on the list is this little box in the bottom left corner. This is your Zoom box. So if you want to go into more detail on your project, you can slide into and enlarge your area that you're working on, or you can reduce it. Either way. Then as we come up to the left side of your canvas space, you have your design panel. And in your design panel, you can click the new icon, and this will give you a brand new canvas. So if you've been messing around with it, you're like, I just want to start fresh, you can click the new canvas. The templates icon, this is an icon that will transfer a project that won't transfer to your project, but it gives you templates of things you might create, like a t-shirt. It'll give you a t-shirt template so you can see where and how to position, what size to position your t-shirt needs to be, your design needs to be on your t-shirt. So templates is something kind of you might not use as a beginner, but it's something you might want to go into and explore on your own. So just so you know how it works. Projects, that will take you into your own projects or the projects that are Cricut Access projects. Then you have images, and images, when you click on the images button, this takes you to the entire library of Cricut images, over 100,000. So it's pretty big, and that's where we're going to focus on today. Then you have your text box, so you can add text to your project. You have the shapes box. You can add shapes to your box, to your project. And then the upload icon will allow you to upload designs or patterns or images. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to find an image in the Cricut Access Gallery. So when you click on the images, and something that to remember as you get used to Design Space, this is the only place to get to the image library. So from your home screen, there's not a button to go into the image library. You need to access it through your canvas. So just give yourself a new canvas, click on that image icon. And if you're following along with me, that's great. We're going to do this again. So the first thing is the highlighted categories. The highlighted categories gives you featured designs. So these might be designs that are relevant to the season or a holiday coming up. You have recently added designs, and designs are being added every week. You have free images this week. So if you don't have Cricut Access, there's still lots of images you can use. And then you have image sets, and that will take you to image sets. So for this, to search a project, I wanted to start with a heart that maybe had something with love in it. It was around Valentine's Day or a wedding. And I just wanted to make something with a heart that said, love you. So let me go back. I typed that into my search bar, and it browses all the images. It came up with 17,411 results. That is a lot of scrolling. So you can use the filters panel to the left side to sort of reduce the number of images to look through to find the one that's perfect for you. So the first one I like to reduce down to are the operation type. So usually you know what type of project you're working with. Are you making a vinyl sticker for a tumbler? Are you making a card? Are you making a scrapbook header, something like that? So you might want to just cut that image out instead of drawing that image out, or you might only want to draw something. So you can highlight those. Image complexity. If you're doing, just your first project, you may want just a real simple image. If you're doing a print and cut, you might want more of a complex image, so you can print it out and then cut it. The layers, again, this is just another way to narrow it down. Do you want a single layer or a multi-layer image? And then what your material is. So again, you usually know, am I going to print and cut this? Am I going to cut it out of paper? Will I be doing vinyl? Will I be doing heat transfer vinyl? So that's your material right there, and you can reduce it down. So when I've clicked on those, it'll reduce your images. When you find an image you like, that I button, the little I icon in the bottom right, if you click on that, this window with the green banding box around it pops up. And what that tells you is it gives you the name of the image so you can find it easier, the number to go back and find it. It also allows you to view the image set right there. So when you want to view the image set, it takes you to a variety of images that are related to that one image. So the Love You heart that I selected takes me to a Stay Golden set of images. So this may have been more of like an anniversary idea, a Valentine's Day collection, something like that. And so you can scroll through there and see if you can find other images that coordinate with the image you initially liked, and even reduce your options down further there. When you've selected the image you want, it'll give you the green banding box around the image, and that little green tag there with the A lets you know it's included in Cricut Access and you have free access to that image. When you've selected an image and it's got the green box, down at the bottom right of your window, the image will show up. And that image there tells you it's ready to go on your canvas, and then you insert your image onto your canvas, and there it is. And you can insert 20 different images at once if you want to, and they'll just stack on top of each other. but each one will be its own layer. So you can see on the right-hand side of this image on my screen, the layers panel only has one layer because I only brought in one image. But if I had brought in 3 images, you would see 3 layers. Then look at your image, and when you click on your image, a blue bounding box shows up. I never know if that's bounding or banding, but we'll call it bounding box. So the blue bounding box shows up. There are 4 icons on each corner. The red X is the delete icon. If you brought it in by mistake or it's not one you wanted, you can just delete that right off your canvas and it goes away. The next icon over is your rotate icon. So you can rotate your image. And then you can also resize your image proportionately. All your images come in with this little icon on the left in the lock position. Now those 2 bottom icons work together. When that is locked and you go to resize your image, it resizes it proportionately. So if this were a 3x3 image, it would resize it to a 6x6 image. If I wanted to resize it to a 4x6 image, I would need to unlock that, and then I could edit the image disproportionately by height and width. And while we're here, and I'm sorry I don't have a red box around this, but just to walk you through the, just to walk you through the edit panel that's underneath your header, you have your edit functions here. So you can undo, you can change your line type, you could change your color, you could change the fill, you could deselect this item, edit the item, align, arrange, flip, change the size, rotate, and move the position of the item on your canvas, all right there. Okay, so this is where we jump into Design Space Live and we start working in our own Cricut. So what I need to do is share my Cricut with you. And so actually, Lindsay, let me just double check. Are there any questions that before we go live into Design Space?
Nope, I think everyone's doing great.
Okay, all right, great. And feel free, if you guys have questions along the way, go ahead and pop them in the chat room. I forgot to say, I have Lindsay and Carly on the backside answering all your questions, sharing links for more information, or if I'm talking about an item, they'll share a link and let you know where to get to it. Okay, so let's jump into Design Space. If you're on a separate computer, or you can minimize your screen, we're going to go right into Design Space here. Okay, so here is Design Space, my home screen for today. I have my banner up here, which is telling me about different things going on. I have my projects are all the next list. We have more videos and more items to make. See, here's all the Cricut community, things that are being made in the community, and people have shared what they've made with all of us. So that's always a great way to get inspired when you go to the Cricut community. Okay, so let's go and start a new project. You can start a new project at this top on your gray bar here with the new project icon. You can start a new project here under my projects. You can also start a new project. Oh, nope, I guess not. Sorry, but you can do it over there too. All right, so we've got 2 ways to do it. So I'm going to do a new project, and I'm using my Explorer. So I would mark that I'm using my Explorer. If you're using a Cricut, go ahead and mark your Cricut, or if you're using a Maker, go ahead and mark your Maker. So you know what machine you're using as you're working along. So we've got our canvas all set up. Everything looks good. Let's jump over to the images and locate an image for today. It's kind of getting springy here. I know some people have snow. I'm a little jealous, but I'm outside of DC in Virginia, and we have just beautiful sunshine today. Don't want to brag. So go ahead and search an image. Let's find one about dreams blooming. Dreams bloom. So 695 images pop up. And you can scroll down and look at them if you want. As you scroll down and as you hover over the information bar, it'll tell you the name of the image. I'm trying to find one that shows you like it's like this. So on my screen, this bloom one pops up and it shows as a draw image. So, oh, you know what? This is a good time. Did everybody grab a Tumbler to work with? If you want to show us your Tumbler so we know what everyone's working with. So I'll be working with this and putting vinyl on the Tumbler. Oh, I like it. Oh, some people have, Tamara has the silver one. I have the white one right here. Oh, Davita has the white one too. Beautiful. All right. So what we're going to do is grab an image, and I am going to do Let Your Dreams Bloom, but I'm not 100% that's the one I want. So I would like to see what other images are available in this image set. So when you click on that, you get to all these different springtime decals. And so you can pick through here, grab one you like. I think I'm going to do the Let Your Dreams Bloom. But just to show you, maybe I want to do Live Life in Full Color and Wake Up Spring is Coming, because I just still can't decide. So down on the bottom right, all three of those images show up. If I decide now, you know what, I really don't want to do that Wake Up Spring is Coming, then I just hit the X and it disappears. Okay, so if you're with me, you're going to insert your image. And now I have two images in my layer panel. They're stacked on top of each other. And I just need to click on my canvas in a blank area, then come back and click on one of the images and move it out of the way. So while this one is super duper cute and it's going to look gorgeous on a Tumbler, I'm going to go ahead and delete that one out of here. So I just have one image to work with. So I'll take that one out. So now I have my Let Your Dreams Bloom image. Grab your Tumbler and your ruler, and let's measure the size that you want your design to be. So I just grab it and I kind of go across and I eyeball about how far I want it to be. I like to keep the tag on it until I'm ready to use it, because then you can see like what your image would look like. So I think if I just use this size here, it's 4.5 inches wide, and that's about as wide as I want it to be. So let's resize your image to fit your Tumbler. Measure your Tumbler, get your width, and then change your size. I'm going to keep the proportion on because for right now, that's just what I'm going to do. So then you go up to the edit bar, size, width, I changed to 4.5 and I hit enter and it changes my width. Didn't have to change it very much, but it just changed it a little bit. Now, if I want to see, well, I want it to be a little bit longer, but I don't want it to be any wider, I would unlock my proportion icon, and then you could bring your image down like this and see if you like something like that. You can play around with it. Now, if you're thinking, oh no, I just messed up my image size, I don't like that at all, don't panic. Come up to the left in the edit and select undo. It brings you right back to where you started. You can pretty much undo everything you've done except weld. So if you make a mistake, you can undo like probably 100 steps back if you need to. So that undo button is your best friend. Okay, so we've got our design. We have the size we want, but I don't think gray is going to be the color I want to cut out. So up on your edit bar, find the square of color and click on that square of color. Your materials pop down, your material colors pop down. So you can choose what color you'd like to work with. So I'm going to go a throwback 80s theme and do pink and green. I know so that'll be my design right there. And if you want to, you can do the advanced option and select what color you want. You can slide it, you can go darker if you want to, anything like that. So you can, especially if you're working on cut and print, you might want to do more the RGB. Okay, so we've got our design here. It is already, since it came over as one image, it's already grouped together and it's already attached. So when I send it to the maker, when I send it to make it, it will go over as one design will go over. If you're making your own text, let's say, like if you're going to type out hello spring, this is not going to be our project, but I'm just going to show you guys how to do this. If you were to type out like hello spring and send that over to your cutter, what would happen is it kept it all together. How about that? Let me go back. Because really what happens, the software tells the machine to cut out your letters and cut out your shapes in the most useful way on your material as possible. So if I had, let's try this way so I can show you what I mean. So let's say I wanted to put 3 circles around my title. And I'm going to change the color because just for ease, I will just cut them all out of the same vinyl. So this is how I want it to look. Let's just say, when I send it over, it moves those circles. So you see, it maximizes your material, so you get less material waste. But that's not really what you wanted it. You wanted it to be all together. So what you need to do is cancel out of that. On the canvas, click on with your left mouse, click outside of the shapes and drag all 3 of them to give yourself a big banding box. And then you want to attach those together. That way, when you do the make it keeps them in that position. So I know this is a frustrating feature until you learn it. And then once you learn it, you're like, oh, of course, that makes complete sense. And then I can detach it as well. So you just go down on the actions, detach, and then you can delete those squares. So when you use designs, images from the images section, they're already attached, they're ready to go, and you can just pop it onto your canvas just like that, and you're ready to go. So I don't think we have any other changes to make on this. So we're ready to send it over to our maker to make it. So what this sends you to is the prepare screen. And each color you're cutting will show up on a different canvas. So let me just go back one more step and show that to you. So let's say I was going to make, I wanted to make 4 tumblers with this design, but one was going to be pink, one was going to be green, and that's what it was going to look like. When you select make it and it goes to the prepare screen, it automatically puts your designs on separate canvases based on the color. So if you wanted to cut it on one mat, you'd need the color to be the same, or you can manually move it in this screen. So these 3 little buttons up here, you click on that, you move the object to this mat, you say, yes, that's what I want to do. You can confirm it. And then now you have both of them will cut on this mat like that. So it just takes a little bit of practice to work on that, but you can move it around. I always kind of like to use that 6-inch bar as my middle line, because then I know I can line up the second piece of vinyl on that 6-inch bar very easily. Okay, so I will delete this. I'm going to hide that out of there. Okay, so now we're ready to send it over. We have one more last step before we do. So go ahead and hit the continue button. if you only have one machine hooked up or you've already hooked it up, your machine will automatically show up here. Otherwise, this under connect machine, otherwise this would be a drop-down menu with the variety of machines that are available to you. Then you want to set your base material. Now, I use the frosted glitter a lot, so I have that as one of my favorites. But if you didn't, you would go into Browse All Materials, and you could select vinyl, and all the different vinyl choices would show up. So as you can see on my frosted glitter, I have a yellow star, and that means it's my favorite, so it always shows up. So if there's one material you use a lot, you can go ahead and favorite it, and it will show up every time. So let's select the premium frosted vinyl and say done. Now, when I go over to the machine, I'll show you, I have my Air Explorer set on custom material. So I have to choose what material I want to use. On the Explorer Air, though, you can turn the dial to the vinyl choice. On your maker, you always have to select your material, and same with the Joy. You select your material. Okay, so now that we've selected our material, I think I've done everything on here I need to do. It's telling me my maker is flashing, and it's telling me it's ready to cut. So I will stop share here. And then if we can go ahead and make the overhead, there we go. All right. Okay, let me just slide one thing over, and then I'll be right there to make it. Okay, I gotta grab my cup. All right, so here we are on our workspace. This is the glitter vinyl, the shimmer vinyl that I'll be using. And I have my transfer tape here. There's two different types of transfer tape. So you have a strong grip transfer tape and a regular transfer tape. When you're working with materials that have like a texture on the surface, you want to use the strong grip transfer tape and not the regular transfer tape. This is more for like just regular glossy vinyl, things like that. You can tell the difference. Number one, it'll say strong grip on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. And it will also be purple. Your strong grip is purple and your other one is gray. So if you ever get confused, you have that little tool to go back onto. All right, so I'm going to use my paper trimmer here and trim my words. So I made it 4.5 inches, I think. So I usually give myself a little bit of space to work with. But it's like this when I cut. So I have a little bit extra, but I'd rather have too much than too little. So I'm going to go 4.5. I'm going to slide like that. When you're using your Cricut material, it's really cool because it has these grids on the back. It also tells you what type of material you're using, but you don't have to use a paper trimmer. You can just use scissors to cut with. But I like the paper trimmer. I think it's super easy. And then I get my measurements right. So let's do 4.5 by 5. Okay. So I'm cut out. I'm ready to go. I will put my shimmer side up, my flat side on the back, and you just line it up with your left corner here. This is how your machine reads it. It reads it this way and then down. So you always want to line up with this top right corner. And it doesn't matter which way you use your mat. You can use it this way or this way. So just know that. I'm using the standard grip mat. This is the mat that came with your machine, and it's green. The other, there is the light grip mat you can also use with your vinyl. I just prefer a little bit stronger grip. Okay, so you put your vinyl down, grab out your squeegee wedgie, and just go ahead and give it a good like little pass through so you can make sure that everything is adhered down. Now my light is flashing, telling me it's ready to go. So I go ahead, oh, sorry, here's the dial. So if I wanted to, if I didn't want to have to select my material, I could just turn this to the vinyl notch there. I'd probably turn this between vinyl and iron-on because it is the glitter, the shimmer vinyl, and I would want it to be a little thicker. So I'd probably put it closer there. Yeah.
Do you mind just pointing out where the cutting tools go?
Oh yeah, isn't that nifty?
Real quick. Yep.
Yeah. So you have the your cutting tools can go down here. I mean your accessories, and then your blades you can store down here. So that has like a little magnetic piece, and all your blades can store down there. Or if you have an excess of blades, you can store them in the little side carry.
And then also, that's perfect, thank you. And also where the actual cutting tools go in the A and B slot, just go over that.
Oh, right. So this is where your cutting blade goes, the B slot. If you're using a oops, where's my scoring tip? If you're using the scoring tip, that would go in the A slot, or a pen would go in the A slot. And you just open it up, you put it down, and you'll hear it click when you do it. Okay. And then you just close it like that. And then you're ready to do the scoring or the cutting. Okay. So then we pop this in, and you want to make sure that your mat is lined up to the wheels, and you give it just a little bit of pressure, and then you hit that flashing load unload button. We're going to load it in, and then your Cricut C button flashes, and that tells you that it's ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and touch that one, and it will start cutting away. So Lindsay, this is always a good spot to answer any questions that have come up.
Yeah, I'm seeing there's a lot of questions about selecting the color. It seems like there's some confusion. If you select like green as your layer, it will not, like, the machine will not print green. And that just helps when you have, let's say, like blue, pink, orange. It just helps keep your colors organized. So the machine is not going to print anything. It's whatever you feed into your machine.
Right. While your machine is cutting, you can go ahead and trim out your transfer tape and get that ready. Get your mug ready. So if you are using this, I usually would rinse it, like just give a little baby wipe to it or something, just so I know I have a super clean surface to start with. Just grab a little baby right here. I've been known to use Windex as well. Just give it a little wipe. Now, the tumblers, if you picked out the tumblers from Michael's, the tumblers like this, these are not dishwasher safe. So these you want to wash by hand. And you can wash I'm using permanent vinyl. So you can wash this by hand and not worry about having the vinyl come off. These tumblers do say they're top rack dishwasher safe. I'd probably hand wash this though too, but I wouldn't worry too much if it did get in the dishwasher. Okay, so once your machine has finished cutting, your light will flash telling you it's time to unload your project. So you go ahead and hit unload, and it releases it onto your mat. Okay, now I'm going to try something new. Instead of bringing this up, I'm going to zoom in. Let's see if I can do that. Nope. All right, let me try something. Yep, nope, we're just going to do it like this. Okay, so when you're ready to take your vinyl off of your mat, you just get a little corner of it like that. Turn it over so your material is facing your work surface, and you actually just want to hold it down and peel the mat off the vinyl. So your mat will just peel off. These are super duper flexible, and you really cannot damage them. So don't hesitate to just peel that right off. Then you want to grab your weeding tool. And if you're working along with me, grab your weeding tool and we will start to weed. So weeding, like I said, is just taking out the excess design. I mean, taking out what you don't want to transfer over. So in this case, I want to transfer my letters over. And I like to kind of be a little cautious with this, especially if I'm using a fancy material, just so that I don't bunk anything up. I also will trim. Something that I learned early on is if my vinyl gets to be too much, sometimes I'm sloppy. I'm a sloppy crafter. I don't know how many of you all are, but sometimes like I'll get it turned upside down on top of the other element. So I sometimes will cut my design, my vinyl, so that it doesn't interfere with other parts of my design, which may seem a little bit excessive, but it's good. It's good to do. And then also, I usually have like a little sidekick here of a lint roller so that I can just take my weeded pieces off of that and set it to the side. I'm missing that today. All right. So if you're weeding along with me, a lot of people find this very relaxing to do the weeding. So you can do a lot of cuts at once and then come back and do your weeding in the afternoon, in the evening, at the end of the day, something like that. You can get your kids maybe to help you out if you need to. I can tell you around Christmas time, I'm always doing a lot of projects. So sometimes it's a whole family affair of weeding. All right. If you're having trouble, like this isn't coming up as easily as it usually does. So you can add, next time I might add a little extra pressure. Instead of doing the default pressure on my cutting, I might use a little extra pressure and give it a little bit extra kick as it's cutting through. But see how I just kind of don't get bogged down in one spot. I just trim, and then I can come back to where it's easier. And then I'll deal with that when I have less vinyl to deal with. So you just kind of move your way across your project. All right, we're getting there. How's everybody doing? Anybody finished already? We have some speedy weeders. All right. Just take your time and do it. Work your way across your project, rotate it around as you go. Just make sure you don't touch up on your other parts of your project so it doesn't come up for you. You don't want to do that, because then you're looking around for a little eye or something. Okay, this is more how I like it to weed. All right. It went so quiet. I guess everybody's busy weeding with me. Okay, so there we go. Now I've got the outside of my design is weeded. Now you just go back in and pick out the little inside pieces. I use the tip of my weeding tool. I kind of poke it in and then I pull it back like this. And then you just hold on to those little pieces. I really like to work on this mat. It's a self-healing mat and I love the lines on it, but it also protects my work surface so that if I'm poking, I'm not poking into if I were working on my dining room table or something, I'm not poking into a valuable piece of furniture. And it just pops out everything really nicely. It has a little bit of give in it. So you can also, when you're weeding, if you're having a hard time seeing the lines that you need to weed out, you can use a bright pad, or you can even take it up to a window and just hold your design up to a window and you can see the lines just a smidgen bit easier that way. So we are getting there. I've only got one more O to go. And one more over here. All right, perfect. So everything's pulled out. I've got all my designs taken care of. And now I'm ready to use my transfer tape. So you just take your transfer tape, and again, I'm using the strong grip, and it's got the purple design on it. So I know that that's my strong grip design. So I make sure it's going to cover everything. Yep. And so you just peel it off. And I like to line up the edge of my transfer tape, not the edge. I like to line up one line of my transfer tape on the line of my cutting mat. And this really helps me line up my design. So when I put my design down, this is a straight edge, and I just kind of bump it up against the straight edge of the transfer tape. So everything lines up, and it makes transferring it to your cup, to your tumbler, so much easier. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. So once I've got it all lined up, you just pull that over like that. Get out your scraping tool again. Give it a good scrape across. This will make sure it's sticking to your vinyl, and it will release for you. Just do like that. And then hopefully when you're ready to pull it up, it will all come up. I like to do the reverse. So just like we did the other mat, I like to do it this way so I can see how it's coming up. And if you have any troubles getting it off, just take your wedge and hold the edge of the backing of your vinyl and roll it back with your fingertips. And that way you can use your wedge to push anything back down. So now I've got my design is beautiful. So beautiful. And I use these face cloths when I'm ready to put it on my design. So I use these face cloths like this. I put my design there. That way my tumbler is not rolling back and forth. You can find the center of your line of your design kind of by going like this, folding it if you need to, so you know where the center is. Now, the great thing is it's going on a tumbler, so it doesn't really matter where the center is. If you're worried about getting it on straight, you can do it crooked like that if you want to. You can also use the bottom of your transfer tape to line it up with the bottom of your cup. And in that instance, I would do what I call a butterfly. So you bring the wings up of your transfer, you push the center down, and then you push that over and that over. And if it's not, because it's like an angle shape like that, if your transfer paper isn't going down smoothly or it's got buckles in it, you can just take your scissors and trim up into the transfer tape so that it will lay flat on your tumbler. Okay, so once you've got it all on there, you just go ahead and rub it in really good. And then you can start peeling off. Now, again, if you find that it's not releasing well enough, you can use your wedge and slide your wedge under there and pull off like this. So my little E didn't want to come off. So I hold that down and then I slowly slide it off like this. I make sure each letter is staying down as I go. If you have a spot that's, you know, a little trickier than another spot, you can do that. There we go. So my design is transferred. I set my transfer tape aside. I'll go back and put that back onto my backing so I can use that again if I need to. There's our design. Let your dreams bloom. And if you did it on a mug, it might look like this. On a tumbler, it might look like that. If you did it with that wake up, spring is coming, maybe an orange vinyl, that's how it might look. I also had the live, love, laugh, and bloom. So it might look like that one. All right. Now you can go back to my, there you go. So does anybody have any other questions? How many times can you reuse the transfer tape? Until it's not sticky. So I kind of set it aside and we'll just use it. Like it may not work so well next time with my glitter, but it'll work fine for my vinyl transfer. I use it until I get it like really bubbly, because when you reuse it, it can get a little bubbly. So,
Kesley, there were some questions about how big to cut your vinyl. Can you go over that?
when you put it to like,
No, like how big, like, you know, like sizing your vinyl.
oh, okay, sure. So let me share my screen again. And I will go into Design Space again. And so when you look back at your design here, you can do a couple of things. One is you can, if you know what size you're working with, you can draw a square out to the size that you want it to be. Right click on it, send it to back. So let's say I'm going to make my design 5 by 5. I could take my design and put it on there and see how it's going to measure. And then I would cut my vinyl 5 by 5. So like if I wanted it to fit perfectly in that space, you could just move it around, unlock your proportions, move it around so that it fits. Oops, not that way. So that fits in that space. Or when you go to the make it, if you look right here on your mat, it will tell you cut your vine. Like I always, like I said, I give myself a little extra. So I would cut it 4 inches by 5 inches. Is that the question? Okay, awesome. Oh, okay. So if you mirror your design when you're ironing your design on. So when you're using heat transfer vinyl, you're flipping your design upside down to iron it on. That's when you would mirror it. I'm not using heat transfer vinyl. I'm just using regular vinyl. So you don't mirror your design with regular vinyl, only usually when you're ironing it on. All right, guys, this has been so much fun. Your vinyl is sticking. My vinyl isn't sticking to my cup. Just keep rubbing it. If you use, you may have, if your vinyl isn't sticking, you may have used a removable vinyl, you can see that. There's a removable vinyl and there's permanent vinyl. But if your vinyl's not sticking, you may have used a strong grip transfer tape, which is pulling up the vinyl, so it's not sticking down. So check your transfer tape, check the type of vinyl you used. It should stick though. So if you're having trouble with it not coming off, just kind of give it a little bit of an extra rub. Use the wedge to push it down as you go. That should help you out.
Hey, Kesley, could you show us really quick how a couple people have questions on making their own design, so just their own verbiage. Can you show the text tool really quick and how they might type out their own saying and change the font really quick?
Yeah, let me go ahead and share that. So here's my mat. I sort of make like the one. Okay, so if you want to make text, you just hit the text and then a window pops up in the bottom right of my screen, and you just type in whatever you'd like to type in. There it is. It says hello spring. And then you go up to your edit bar and all of your editing tools for your fonts pop up. So you can change your font choice. You just click on font and all your choices show up. And we really go into font in the 200 level class, how to use fonts, how to align them and things like that. So we really do that. So then you would send that over. You'd want to attach it. If you're using a cursive font, you'd want to, connect it and weld it. But that's where the font, the text box is. All right. So we do have 2 hashtags if you want to share your projects that you've made. One is Cricut with Michaels, and the other, Renee, I forget what it is.
It's Make It with Michaels.
Make It with Michaels. So if you would share your projects, we'd love to see them, love to see what you're making and how it's going. I think, Lindsay, have you popped up the 200 level class? There we go. All right, so the 200 class, just so you guys know, we really go in depth with layers, we really go in depth with fonts, and we go in depth with shapes. And we make, let me see if I have it here. You make a notebook cover from scratch. So like this isn't an image you can find in Design Space. We make it from scratch. All right. Thank you guys so much. It's so fun seeing everybody. I hope you guys have a great crafty week. Take care.